I would say the first time that you do that, where you don't just react and you just notice that you're like, instead of saying I am angry, you're saying I notice that I'm angry. The first time that you do that, you're on an enlightenment journey. You're on an awakening journey. And we're just always improving our ability to sit with and see things as they really are, and also reduce our brain's potential for suffering because of how self-obsessed and neurotic it is. So how this happens mechanistically, research into long-term meditators, which is fascinating to read the studies on long-term meditators, or people who do psychedelics, people who do trauma integration, neuroplasticity studies, suggest that this kind of mindfulness, this self-inquiry, will actually process real brain structures, change real brain structures over time. So the default mode network is the brain's kind of like self-story generator. It decreases during deep meditation, and this leads to reduced kind of ego chatter and self-obsession, where we just suffer so much. This turns off during psychedelics, which is why psychedelics are so helpful for anytime you're trapped in a thought pattern. That's why it's helpful for OCD and PTSD and depression, because all of those things are us getting stuck in our thoughts, essentially our thought patterns. For amygdala reactivity, which is our fear center, that's going to shrink with mindfulness or enlightenment kind of practices, and that's going to reduce that threat overreaction that we have. Our prefrontal cortex gains stronger regulation over emotional outbursts, so we become more intentional rather than reactive. And then the insular cortex, which is the awareness of our body and our emotional states, become more active, which leads to just a more embodied perception of what's going on, rather than just like getting stuck in your thought patterns and ruminating. So in short, the enlightened brain just stops compulsively defending this fragile self, stops fighting reality, stops filtering everything through constant fear and craving, and you start to experience more life like sensations are just sensations, not problems. Thoughts are just thoughts, not commandments. Emotions are waves, not verdicts. You are part of reality, not separate from it.